So guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here with the big news that Jonathan Woodgate has left Middlesbrough, or been sacked in fact, and replaced by Neil Warnock. We'll talk about what that means for them today. Let's get into the video. So yeah, Woodgate leaves Borough after a disastrous run of form, after a disastrous performance on Saturday. That 3-0 home loss to Swansea. He's only won one game in 14, 2 games in the entirety of 2020 so far, and they lurk now just outside the relegation zone on goal difference, in serious danger of going down, which did not seem likely at all at the start of the season. In fact, just 3 months ago, the Borough chairman, Steve Gibson, gave his full backing to Jonathan Woodgate, but we all know what that means. It's a bit of a curse, isn't it? But he gave his full backing to Woodgate. He was happy with how things were going, thought he was the right man for the job, but he's had to hit the panic button here and bring in a man who really knows how to get a side out of trouble in Neil Warnock. You can sympathise with Woodgate a little bit. This was a big job. He was trying to change the style of football from Tony Pulis, and that was the main task he was given. He has managed to bring in a lot of young players, well, a few young players, the likes of Spence, Coulson and Pearce have all had good minutes this season, which is a positive for Middlesbrough fans. And this was the first season that they didn't have parachute payments from the Premier League, which is another big issue, and things have to change a lot around a football club when that happens. They're now a solid championship club and they need to make sure it stays that way, which is why they've had to make this change. But the bottom of the championship is ridiculously competitive at the moment. There are 6 clubs just 3 points away from that final relegation place that is currently occupied by Hull, of course, after their defeat to Charlton. But I think Middlesbrough did make the right decision here. I think they were sliding towards oblivion, really. It was tough. It's harsh on Woodgate. He was faced with a tough task, but he just didn't have the experience. I don't think he didn't have the quality in the end, and things just didn't happen for him. I'm sure Middlesbrough fans will wish him well, but they need to stay in the championship, and that's why they've brought in Neil Warnock. So what is there to say about Neil? One more job. Warnock, I think he said that when he got the Leeds job. He's been everywhere saying he'll give it one more go. He said it at Rotherham, he said it at Cardiff, but he's back again and we love it. I love Neil Warnock, I love him in the championship. I mean, 8 promotions to his name, the most in English football. Last time out he was at Cardiff, of course, and somehow got them promoted on a tiny budget for the championship, achieving something against all the odds. They couldn't quite stay up in the Premier League, but they gave it a very good go. But this isn't about the Premier League, this is about the Championship, and that is where Neil Warnock thrives. He did amazingly well at QPR, getting them promoted. Sheffield United, Plymouth, Huddersfield, all promoted, and he kept Rotherham up, which was a great achievement in itself just a few years back. He's had 7 months out of the game since leaving Cardiff, and he's now 71 years old, which makes him the oldest manager in the Championship. But age is just experience for Neil Warnock. I think everywhere he's gone, he seems to do a good job, and Middlesbrough should be pretty happy with this appointment. It seems like a short-term appointment for now, but I think if he gets a few wins, keeps Borough up, I think he'll get a go next season, and that's where he can thrive, really. This Borough squad is in a slight need of a revamp, but it's got an awful lot of quality there, in my opinion. I mean, the strikers, Assombalonga, Ashley Fletcher, and Rudy Gestede are certainly championship level strikers, in my opinion. I mean, Gestede gets a bit of abuse for being a bit of a target man, but he could be paired quite nicely with one of the other two, and Warnock can make quite an efficient strike force out of that. To be honest, I cannot believe that Rudy Gestede and Neil Warnock have yet to meet in either of their careers. They just seem like a match made in heaven, don't they? A target man, hard working. He doesn't find the net too often, but paired with one of the other two, I think he could do quite a nice job. And I think Warnock could get the best out of Rudy Gestede. You heard it here first. He's not a goal scorer, we know that, but he is a handful for any championship defender, and he's a problem, even bringing off the bench. I like the way this is going. Warnock and Gestede, match made in heaven, I think. But this Borough squad, it's good. I mean, it's okay. It shouldn't be in a championship relegation battle. I think they've got too much quality for that. But, you know, you've got the likes of Johnny Howson, George Friend, Max Clayton, Ryan Shotton even. And the problem with them, they're experienced, but they're all the wrong side of 30. But if you look at Neil Warnock's past, you look at what he did with Cardiff, QPR to some extent, he likes an experienced squad. He likes to know his players have been there and done that, and he can sort of reinvent their careers, you know, give them a bit of motivation. And these are the sort of players he can get the best out of. I mentioned a couple of the names there, but the likes of George Friend and Ryan Shotton, I mean, they've been in really poor form this season. Let's not gloss over that. But Warnock can get the best out of them. And I think that Borough defence, the Borough midfield has the framework, the whole squad has the framework of a very solid Neil Warnock side, and that's what you need in a relegation battle. I mean, he'll probably play 4 at the back. I know Borough have tried 5 this season, probably more successfully. I think Warnock will go back to a 4, and I think if you look at George Friend at left back, I think he'll play Shotton at right back. And then obviously Ayala is not playing, which is a big loss for them, but you've got the likes of Dale Fry and Jed Spence at centre back. I think he might try Paddy McNair, dropping him back 1 and playing him at centre back. I think there'll be a solid back 4 for Borough to build on, and that'll be key to them staying up. Obviously their defence has been pretty horrific in recent weeks. Woodgate hasn't managed to get that right, but Warnock will. Don't worry about that. So the former Cardiff manager has been dealt a hand. He's got, if you like, here, as in he can't make any signings. The transfer window's not open. He's got what he's got, and that suits him, I think. I think he can get the best out of the players that are currently there. I think the players will respond to a new manager quite well. Things have definitely gone sour under Woodgate in that dressing room, I think, just judging by the performances from an outside point of view. Borough fans might be wrong on that one, but I think things hadn't quite gone well for Woodgate, and the players knew his time was probably coming to an end. But let's look at the fixtures that Warnock's got to try and keep this Borough side up, and you've got to say they're pretty favourable, and he will fancy his chances here. First game up, Stoke away, followed by Hull away, and those 2 games grouped together, there's a huge chance to pick up points. And looking at that Hull away game, that is huge. Hull are in probably the only team in the Championship in worse form than Middlesbrough, and Warnock will go in there, and that is a relegation 6-pointer if ever I've seen one. The winner of that will really fancy their chances, and the loser, especially after Hull's defeat to Charlton this weekend, could be condemned to League One early on. So after those 2 away games, it's QPR at home, who didn't start the return well, followed by Millwall away, Bristol City at home, Reading away, Cardiff at home, and finishing with Sheffield Wednesday away. So from that list, the highest ranked team at the moment are Cardiff, beating Leeds this weekend, moving up to 7th place. And you'd take that all day long if you were in Neil Warnock. You don't have to play the likes of Leeds, West Brom and Brentford, who are the 3 standout teams, not even Fulham, Forest, They're all winnable games. May not be winnable for Middlesbrough, some of the away games, but you can get points out of them. Tough away points. That's what Neil Warnock likes. And he'll be able to get the kind of 3 or 4 wins they need to stay up. And then it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there. I think if they stay up, which I really think Neil Warnock will keep them up, it's not guaranteed, but he's got the experience. He's done this before. Look at what he did at Rotherham with a poorer squad, in my opinion. He kept them up against all odds with an 11-game unbeaten run, I think it was, incredibly. And he's got decent fixtures in front of him. He can pick up the points he needs. I think Warnock's the man to keep them up. So if they do stay up in the Championship, that takes us on to summer, and I think that Middlesbrough will want to keep him on if he keeps them up. And Neil Warnock cannot say no to a managerial job. He absolutely loves it. If he keeps Middlesbrough up and there's a chance for him to be there next season, he will be there next season. He took Cardiff from a mid-table finish to 2nd place in the Championship to get them promoted. It will be a big, big ask for him to take Middlesbrough from a bottom half finish to the playoffs even, or pushing for promotion next year. But I think if you're Middlesbrough, you've got to give him a chance. But then there's the elephant in the room. The whole reason Jonathan Woodgate was brought in by Middlesbrough was because the fans were sick of Tony Pulis's long ball football. Pulis got a playoff finish and then finished just outside of the playoffs, and that still wasn't good enough because the brand of football was not attractive on the eye for Middlesbrough fans. They then changed tact, bought in a cheaper appointment in Jonathan Woodgate, and his whole thing was, I'm going to change the style of play. He was unable to do that and still get results, and now they've had to press the panic button. They've had to bring Warnock in, and if the Borough chairman, who is, with this sacking, he's openly admitted he got it wrong with Woodgate, if he and the fans can swallow their pride and realise that direct football, Warnock-style football isn't boring, by the way, it's just direct. Direct football is something they can stomach. If it gets results on the pitch, then they've got to go with that, and they've got to give him time, and they've got to just accept that their team aren't going to be playing this tippy-tappy stuff at the back, passing it around. But Warnock can and will keep Middlesbrough up, and he can and will lead Middlesbrough to a top half finish if he gets the squad together and if he gets the right players in place for the Championship next season. I think if you're a Middlesbrough fan, you've got to be happy with this. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Press the bell next to the subscribe button if you want to see notifications of when I upload. We really appreciate it. I've appreciated all the support on the channel so far. Let's try and get those subscribers up, and like the video again. if you are enjoying this sort of content. I'm excited to see Warnock back. I hope you are too. Shame it didn't work out for Woodgate at Middlesbrough. Let us know down below exactly what you think of this appointment. But for now, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.